best way I can describe the U.S. economy right now is it has a bellyache. And by that what I mean is, did you ever wake up in the morning and you just didn't feel good? I mean, a little sluggish, a little nauseous, not really horrible, but you just didn't feel good. Well, we've all had those kind of days. And when you do that, you try to do one of two things. If you possibly can, you go back to bed. But normally we can't do that. So you get up and you get your clothes on and you stumble through the day and you check whatever boxes you have to check for the day, the things you have to do. But that's not the day you take on a big new project. That's not the day you do something really dramatic in your life. That's the day you kind of get through. Now, why do I talk so much about that? Okay, we have a bellyache, big deal. Here's the reason it's a big deal, okay? If you were to take a snapshot of the balance sheets of all the companies in the United States on any given day in the past 20 years, if you had such a thing as a normal day, that'd be nice, and adjust them for inflation and the size of the economy today, get them all apples to apples for the legitimate comparisons, what you normally find is somewhere around $800 or $900 billion in a column called cash. Because that's about how much cash it takes. We're a $15 trillion economy. Businesses need almost $1 billion just to grease it, for things to flow. That's what you normally find. If you take that snapshot today, you find almost $3 trillion. Why? People are nervous. When they're nervous, they don't take risk. They just sit and accumulate cash. This slugging along stuff we've been doing, we're probably going to do it another 6 months, 8 months or so, something like that. But beyond that, I see a pretty significant spurt of real growth in the United States. And the reason is investors don't want that money to stay in Treasury bills forever. You know, we don't need to pay corporate executives huge salaries, bonuses, and stock options to buy Treasury bills or CDs. You know, we all know how to do that. We pay them to bring out new products, to open new stores, to take risks, to employ people, to do the things that create wealth for their shareholders. And when they feel a little better about things, they'll start doing that. But until we cure this bellyache, it's not going to happen. Now let me talk just a few minutes about Texas as a whole. First thing I want you to do is forget everything I just said, because there is no bellyache in Texas, okay? We are doing very well as an economy right now, our state is. And of course, energy was a huge driver. And you're seeing a lot of that here right now. There are 3 shale formations in the country that have a high ratio of oil to gas. And the action's going to be in oil right now, because that's where the money is. One of them's the Permian Basin, where I live. One of them's the Bakken, up in the Dakotas, and the other one's right here in the Eagle. You're right in the middle of one of the biggest oil plays out of all this shale. It's nice. Yours has oil and gas and some great liquids and everything. That gives it some diversity. As relative prices change, people can shift what they're doing. There's pieces of it that go on and on and on, whether it's at a drilling peak or not. And the drilling peaks depend on global prices at a given point in time, world demand, those kinds of things. And they're going to fluctuate. And that's to say, you're not always going to have as much drilling as you have right now down here. But because you're developing the resource and the asset, you are going to have more resources, more permanent jobs, and a larger overall economy and a lot more wealth than you would have had otherwise. This is a time when this area has resources like it's never had before. Invest in your communities. Do things that make them higher quality of life, that's going to make people want to live here permanently. You have the opportunities to upgrade all kinds of amenities and make it a desirable place to live, to keep people here who will be around as long as there's oil production. And there'll be oil production for a long time. You're in for a lot of prosperity here, and hopefully a chance to really take advantage of some of the opportunities and resources that creates for you to do those things, to do some planning, to do some thinking about what you want the place to look like in 20 years and what you need to do now to make that happen, and taking advantage of the resources you have, the cooperation you get from companies right now, and a lot of other things that can leverage a lot of things and make that really happen. And I know you have some good leadership in that regard, and it's exciting to be in a place that has those kinds of opportunities.